Hey everybody, welcome to another drive-through review micro review. Now I've already reviewed Medici and I'll put a link to my original review, but try to ignore the ugly components in that review and remember the components in this particular micro review here. This is a new edition here. It's put out by Grail Games and the artwork is done by Vincent Dutray, who did Discoveries and Lewis and Clark and a few other games as well. He's an excellent illustrator slash painter. I'm not sure actually how he creates his stuff. It looks like paintings though. So let's just take a look into this and I'll show you the components. And it's got here now rules for 2 players, which at least the edition that I had did not have. And I'll talk a little bit about that. And so here we have the player ships, and these are the boards here. Oops, upside down. And very nice illustration there kind of in the background, sort of like a watermark kind of thing. So this is the lavender player. And here we have the different boards here for the different players. All very nice, very sturdy. My copy that I had these awful cardboard ones that would warp and stuff, but these are very nice, thick cardstock here. Here's the board, which I'll take and show you in a second. And then we here have the other components there. I will take and show you this part. So when you play 2-player, you take and add this little 2-slot thing here to the right of your ship there, so like that. So instead of just 5 slots for your goods, you now have 7, and that is really the only rule change. You have different starting money and stuff like that, but you have that with all the different player counts anyway. So let's set this up a little bit and we'll take a look at it. Okay, I've kind of hit and set up the board for 3 players. One thing to note is this does use the round layout for the various goods tracks, which I love because that was the edition that I had, and that to me was a little bit easier to read, even though that board is ugly as sin. But this is again how you track who has got the most of a particular type of good in the rounds, and you kind of go up here, and then you'll start to get bonus points as you move up and get closer to this. The other cool thing about this is, let me just zoom in here a little bit, is as you score at the end of the round, sometimes it's hard to remember which of the different goods you scored because you score all the different types. It's not usually a problem for us, but I have seen it been like, did we score the wheat? I don't remember. And then, one of us usually figure it out. But they have these little markers here, so you can just take and flip that face down and go, okay, we scored that, and then you kind of just work your way around. So that's a very nice little touch. And the other cool little thing is this round marker. Each game is 3 rounds, so you can take off the first round, the second round, and then you have the third round, and then you're at the end of the game. So that's a very nice, cool little touch there to the game. And the other thing to note here with these different markers is you can see they're nice and sturdy and thick, and they're nicely colored, but if you have somebody that's colorblind, then you can look at the different symbols there. So that's a very nice little addition there. And again, just looking at sort of the background art for these different things, it's much better illustrated here. Other things to note here is they got a nice big chunky start player token, so that's cool. And then you can see each of the players here has these player aids, and so this will remind you what the different payouts are for the general scoring. So remember, you kind of score the overall worth of your boat, and then you go and score each of these individually in terms of the total count of that good. So if you're playing 2-player, whoever has first place or highest value gets 20, second place is 0, and then all the way up to 6, and this is how the score breaks down there. And then on the back side, it shows you how we score the actual goods here. So we're going to go through all the different types of goods. Again, whoever had the most of that type gets, in the case of a 2-player game, 10 and 0, and then the 3 to 6 player, first place is 10, second place is 5, and everybody else. And then again, it reminds you of the bonuses if you made your way up into the upper echelons there. And the last thing to take a look at here is they went ahead and they decided to use the stack of cards, which I appreciate because the edition I had, that again had the round board, it actually had a bag of tiles. And I don't know, after a while, like passing a bag of tiles is a little bit annoying. It's cumbersome. You've got to move it and put, it just takes up room on the table. Having this deck of cards, which is what my friend actually has in their edition, is preferable. So they've really married, in my opinion, the two aspects of the ergonomics of the design, the round score tracker and the cards, and I like those two the best. So this is really cool. And so obviously, of course, continuing with the illustrations on the different types of cards, they're very nice. There's even little icons there for folks that might be a little colorblind and so on here. So you've got cloth and spices. Let's try to find the 10 gold card. I think it might be, oh, got shuffled in. So there's a 10 gold card here. There it is. So again, this doesn't match any of the types of goods there on the table, but this is a zone, and it's the only thing that has a 10 value there. So this is nice here, and I like the cards. You know, you can get a little bit better of an illustration on the card versus a tile you might pull from a bag. So this is an excellent addition. Now, this is probably my favorite pure auction game. You know, I like Raw, I like Razia, which is a variation on Raw. This and Raw really go back and forth. And so they just reprinted Raw now, Fantasy Flight or whatever that's a subsidiary is. So you can get that now if you don't have it. They just now reprinted this here, Medici. This one's a little bit more pure. It has some elements of Raw that I like because, you know, if you remember the rules or watch my video, you'll know that you're kind of flopping these different types, and you can kind of call Raw in a sense, or you call auction. Even if you just flip one card, you're like, okay, I know Billy's gonna really try to bid that one up, or, you know, or something like that. So you can kind of play with that. So it has that really high level of interaction and dynamics there within, you know, the context of a simple auction game. And then of course you have the varying sort of ways to value what you've got, because you're either looking at, you know, the total numbers to try to win the overall scoring for the round, or then you're starting to look at, and actually as the game progresses, these different good types become the more important types of scoring. So it's a cool kind of like, you know, balancing act between those two types of things. And this is very quick. We play this at lunch all the time, and we played it in my gamer group all the time. Family doesn't like it so much, but they don't really like auction games. So, but we did get a chance to play it before they figured out they didn't like auction games. But yeah, I've had this really succeed on a lot of different levels. So definitely take a look at this. This is going to be at Gen Con. So this is a brand new printing, so I'm very excited to see finally a great game not look horrendous. Okay, thanks.